Okay, interesting matchup with my red-white prison deck against Merfolk. Here we go. Blue land and Aethervial. I know exactly what's up. I keep a 2-lander and a Simian Spirit Guide simply because I can play Helix, Gideon, hoping to draw a third land. But if worse comes to worse, I can play a Gideon or an Anger of the Gods on turn 3 with my Simian Spirit Guide. So off we go. I play Arid Mesa, pass the turn. He plays Silvergill Adept, Yippee-ki-yay. I bring in my Sacred Foundry, and when he vials in his creature, which turns out to be Curse Catcher, which is great, I killed the Silvergill Adept. I was quite pleased with myself there because the Curse Catcher could have countered the Helix, but still no lands. Second Lightning Helix though, so not the end of the world. He brings in the Menu Regery. Third Helix, still no land. I'm in trouble. But I Helix the Regery away, and he doesn't do anything. I figured he'd sack the Curse Catcher, but okay. Second Curse Catcher and a Mutavault. Here comes the bridge. No third land. I suppose I could moan, but I wound up exiling the Simian Spirit Guide, casting the Anger, and he sacked the Curse Catcher. End of turn, he vialed in a Harbinger. Brings in the Master of Waves. Master of the Pearl Trident. I get a Blood Moon. Try to Helix that. He Spell Pierces it. Still no land. Lot of trouble here. I know that if I Wrath of God, I'm screwed and I draw a Chalice. So 2-lander, game 1 is a bust. Game 2 is a little more interesting. This is where Ensnaring Bridge really shows what it can do. I keep a hand with 4 lands. Nahiri is pretty useful here. In comes the Vial. I sack. Sacred Foundry tapped. Bring in the Arid Mesa. I'm looking to Helix, whatever his early drops are. He brings in a Lord of Atlantis, which is fantastic. Sacred Foundry. Kill the Helix. Oh, he Curse Catchers. Not a problem, because now I can exile Simian Spirit Guide and exile the Aether Vial. I was quite pleased with that play. I could have brought in Gideon there, but I chose to bring in the Stony Silence just in case he brought something in. He attacks me for 2. I'm in a lot of trouble here. Gideon's decent enough, but doesn't do much because Kira the Great Glass Spinner does nothing. He's got a huge number of creatures, kills my Gideon, and I draw a Wrath of God. Hallelujah. Wipe his board. I do have 6 board wipes in the deck, so I'm not sure I can count that one as a lucky draw. But in comes Master of Waves, in comes Ensnaring Bridge, which completely turns the game around. He can cast all the creatures he wants. Unless I draw my Emrakul, this game's going nowhere. In comes Chandra, Torch of Defiance, and another Stony Silence off the top. Fantastic, because I can just start +1ing her. I draw Helix, do 3 damage to him. He realizes the game is up and gives me the concession. Game 3. This one is a lot of fun. I thought for sure I was going to lose this. But I keep this hand. Play my Arid Mesa. He brings in a Silvergill. I sack the Mesa, bring in a second Sacred Foundry, take the 2 life, well, 3 life, just to get in my Chalice for 1. Now he can't bring in any Chalices. He can't bring in any Curse Catchers. This is pretty good. I'm quite happy now, especially with the 2 Wrath of Gods. And then he goes and Spreading Seas one of my Sacred Foundries. Suddenly I'm not happy. I didn't really need to play the Ensnaring Bridge, or, well, let's change that. The Ensnaring Bridge isn't going to do me any good at this point, but it was the most efficient use of my mana, especially given that I boarded out all 3 of my Blood Moons, given that he plays so many islands. The hope is that, I can play my second Plains, Wrath of God, and go down to 2 cards, or whatever the heck I draw next. Now, he plays Master of the Pearl Trident, swings in for 3, he's got Island Walk, and now I've got 2 islands because he's Spreading Seas my second Foundry. So, the fact that he's got a Cavern of Souls means he can still bring in a Curse Catcher, because that overrides the Chalice. So, I'm always operating under the assumption that at some point a Curse Catcher is going to come down. If I'm playing a smart Merfolk opponent, he's going to know that the Cavern of Souls overrides the Chalice. Nevertheless, I play my Plains, board wipe, I'm down to 3 cards. He brings Akira the Glass Spinner and a 3rd Spreading Seas. Holy crap. He plays an Aether Vial and it gets cancelled by the Chalice. I love it when that happens. I exile the Simian Spirit Guide that I drew, so I can use all of my mana and play Assemble the Legion and at least assemble some blockers. I don't see any creatures out there that have Island Walk. I've killed most of them. At the beginning of my turn, Assemble the Legion makes my token. I leave the token out. I draw a Temple of Triumph, which is fantastic. I finally get red back, so I can use my Helix or even my Wrath of God. He attacks in. I block with my Harbinger. Assemble the Legion gives me 2 tokens. And I Wrath of God. I probably should have attacked with those 2 tokens, but meh, whatever. He brings in a Master of the Pearl Trident. He can't attack. Well, not yet, he can't. In come my tokens. I Lightning Helix the Master. He brings in a Lord of Atlantis, which I instantly Helix, get more tokens, and swing in with all of them. That's fantastic. He brings in a Harbinger, which blocks, well, returns one of the tokens to my hand and blocks another one, but he still takes quite a bit of damage. He's down to 54 seconds at this point. But regardless, my Gideon comes in and I make a token. He plays a Lord of Atlantis, but I'm about to get shed loads of tokens. Keep the land in my hand so I can attack through the bridge. He blocks with 2. I prevent Lord of Atlantis, play the land, he can't attack in next turn. He plays a Mutavault, has no cards in hand. Next turn I make another shed loads of tokens, hold the Arid Mace on my hand, and swing with everything for lethal. He actually tries to block and then realizes he's dead, unblocks and concedes. Whoop, and concedes. There we go. And that is how you beat Merfolk with the prison deck.